News come.
Hello.
Hey, finally.
God.
How you feeling?
Yeah. Well, what happened was just before I went out last night, in my haste, I dropped a glass bottle and then I trod in the glass bottle.
Oh no.
And
Were
so I
you
got
wear...
little bits of glass in my foot.
Oh shit, you were barefoot.
Hmm. And then so I was rushing to get out. So I tried to have a bath and tried to shave off like the skin where it was, trying to get to get the glass.
That's not
And
the
now,
way to do it.
no, I don't know if
Matt,
it was. It's
what are you
worked in
doing?
it's worked in the past.
It's worked in the countless times that this has happened to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But on this occasion, I think I just really scraped away a large amount of skin and made it a lot
What the
worse.
hell? What were you using to scrape away the skin?
A razor.
What the hell? When you
Because I
just
was worried that the glass was inside the foot
yeah,
and it
but
would just stay there.
if you're scraping like that, aren't you going to push the glass further in?
I don't know. It did work when I did it before, but and then I went straight out and drank alcohol, which was like an anaesthetist.
Yeah, well, that's the
And
only
so I was
thing.
fine then. And then I've woken up today and I'm just rough as shit.
Well, how's your foot?
Well, it's covered in razor scrapes.
But
Um,
how's it feeling?
Painful.
But like, has it got worse? Does it feel like it's infected?
No, I don't think. Oh fucking hell! I hope it's not infected. I think it's all right. It's just yeah, just a bit of a long day. I've managed to walk into town and back to get a new mouse.
Yeah, that was time well spent.
Yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous, really. Like it's not the mouse actually that's wrong at all. It's the computer. I think the computer is on its way out. Anyway, what's happening?
I don't think that's the case. I think you're using the mouse port. It's like a round one, right?
No, it looks like a USB one, but I don't know. Nothing. It only fits into one. Don't
Okay.
know why.
Anyway, and you
Weird
still
computer.
haven't found your pop filter.
No. God knows what happened to that. Someone must have just picked it up and thrown it away for no reason.
Right. Great. Anyway, I'm so glad you made it to this
Mm.
pod.
Yeah, I like the beginnings to these. They're priceless.
That,
So
that,
far, completely unusable.
no, I think that was quite good. That was quite an exciting story about your foot. Did you just
Oh,
fart?
right. Eh?
Oh, what's the volume on this? You haven't got your earphones on. Very unprofessional.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I plug my earphones in, I think it knocks the mouse. But I will do it if you want. I just won't be
Oh,
able
you
to
got
move.
so you got the mouse working.
Yeah, but only if I like force it to the edge.
This podcast is real. This podcast is on the edge. It
You
really.
don't, you didn't think it was actually possible to get this podcast any more low tech?
Yeah, well, I just feel like it's really on the edge of existence at this point. Like any little thing could tip it over.
Thanks.
It seems really loud to me. I don't know why. Um, it is headphones. Yeah. So you sent me a video. Let's just clear something up very quickly at the beginning. Do a bit of
What video?
fact checking. Why is the sound weird? What video? You sent me a video about Avellino's.
Oh, yeah, yeah, my favorite Italian restaurant. But actually, that was a mystery as well, wasn't it? That you solved.
Yeah, well, you sent a video of it. Of you walking in, very clickbaity.
No, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm naturally getting more
No,
clickbaity.
just clickbaity for me. Like you know your
Yeah.
audience. I think. Do you ever do that? Like, I find more and more you take on that mentality, even with your own friends and stuff.
Oh.
Like you like, I'll send them this because they'll definitely click on that. But yeah, you
Mm.
sent it to me and it said like you just going around the cafe and it all being closed up and stuff, as if
Yeah, it was weird. They left the shop. Looked like they just left the shop
yeah, it was like the
with
Mary
the door
Celeste.
open. Yeah, like the Mary Celeste.
But they'd gone on
but with
holiday.
pasta.
But they opened
Well, that's
they
what you
left the
found
door
out, wasn't
open.
it? Yeah, they seem to have left the door open, but But then, as you said, there's actually a note on the door, and if you zoom in, you can see it says we're back on whatever it was, the 14th or the 16th or something of August.
But
And so yeah,
is the door just going to be open the whole time?
I guess so. Maybe they've got someone looking after it, but it was uh it was peculiar. But I assumed that it had been shut down. But no, it was just on
Yeah, that's
holiday.
what you did. No investigation, no research. You just marched in, made a video, sent it straight to me. Oh, look,
Yeah,
they've
and
shut
then
down
relied on you to
Avelinos.
solve
And
it.
I'm like, no, they haven't. I can, even in your video, I can see there's obviously a sign on the door.
Yeah, but it's like the Jeffrey Epstein case, isn't it? It's like,
It's exactly like that,
well,
yes.
basically, what I did was I saw that there was something that had happened, that something had
And you just
like
quickly
closed,
got it
and I was
out
just
on
like,
the
oh, no,
internet.
well, I don't really need to know anything else about that.
Yeah.
It's just closed down. And then I've sent it to you, and you've been like, oh, well, maybe we need to check the facts and think about other scenarios.
That's just the way I
Well,
am. That's
bit
just the
too
way I'm
little,
built.
too late, Daniel.
Anyway, yes, new party. Let's get back on track.
Good. Yeah.
Exciting times.
Yeah, so I haven't followed what's happening with the new party. Uh, is it good? Are we winning?
It's so good. It's so amazing. I mean, that as we said last week, the great thing about it is you don't need to keep on top of it. Nothing's
Don't need to
happening.
know.
Yeah, it's a real relief. You know, with everything else these days, it's just constant news coming out, new events to stay on top of.
Sorry.
What are you drinking?
Sorry, I want to get back to that. I've been looking forward to this for fucking months
Months.
because it's a chilled coffee from Starbucks,
Yeah, yeah, I'm
and
aware of those. They're quite
I've
common.
never had one before. And it says October 2025, like best of. So I was like, oh, that's fine then. But of course, it's already got the fucking straw stuck in it. It's had, it's had the straw stuck in it for about 8
So you
weeks.
you opened it 8 weeks
And it's
ago.
just that was horrible.
You opened
I
it
think I must have put the straw in it by accident.
by accident.
Yeah, on accident.
You carelessly put the straw in and then okay. All right.
So that's not going to be good, is it?
I think you should throw it away. Don't leave it there.
Oh no! Oh no! Hang on. I think I better. I don't think this is very good. I'll be back in a minute. Hang on. I think I'm gonna have to go and sort of throw this up a bit. That's really bad. It actually stinks of like, when you get a really horrible sink, if you that.
Well, this is off to a strong start. So Matt goes to throw away a coffee that he opened 8 weeks ago. If you're listening, if you're not watching this, that's what's happened. Matt's bought a. I mean, what? So he's bought a Starbucks coffee 8 weeks ago that he's apparently very excited to have because he's not had one before, even though they've been around for years. And then he's opened it and then not drank it for 8 weeks and then decided to pull it out of the fridge, presumably. Not noticed that it's already opened, which would be the first, like, did he not realize that he didn't have to open it now?
Oh.
I despair at this
Oh.
podcast.
Oh. Right. So there's been a few false starts to this podcast today. It's a little bit like your party. Nothing's actually happened yet, but we're all really excited.
It's a good save. I feel like we're going to have to keep all that in for some reason.
Oh, I should probably have used salt water.
I mean, hopefully we'll be able to find some segments that we can then put out that'll be half decent because
Yeah.
only the hardcorest of fans are going to make it through that intro to get to this point.
Hi, hardcore fan.
Oh yeah, the one.
Someone's there.
Yeah.
Have you seen this thing on the news that they've got a summit, haven't they? There's a summit going on in Alaska.
Yes.
That's interesting as well, isn't it?
Go on, explain all that.
Well, I don't know. We should probably analyze it next week. Let's tee it up for next week. But yeah, Trump and Putin are meeting in Alaska well, probably by the time anyone watches this, it'll be exactly then.
Oh, is it
One,
tomorrow?
yeah, 1 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon. Um, and yeah, I thought that I thought the most dastardly thing that Donald Trump has schemed to attempt to do is,
Ever?
yeah, this is his worst.
Wow.
He wants to get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah. He's been.
what a bastard!
I know.
Absolute of all the things he's done, wanting to earn a Nobel Prize, it's got to be up there with the worst of it.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? People really don't like the fact that that's his goal.
Yeah, imagine have you ever woken up being like, do you know what I really want to do in my life? I just want to just get to the top of my field and earn a Nobel Prize. Oh, you fucking disgrace! You egotistical scum.
I mean, I
Oh,
think that's. I suppose it's because there's this idea about, well, for one thing, for example, the American government and who the president is, and that's somehow, I suppose, Hollywood is a good example of this, of like sort of Bill Paxman type or something. These are the people that should represent us. And in fact, the politics is, you know, neither here nor there, really. It's like you want these kind of cool, sort of calculated, seemingly sort of overeducated in many ways, sort of people to run the administration. And Trump just makes a laughing stock of all of that. And that's what
yeah,
people really hate about him. They
yeah,
don't
he's not
really care
educated.
about the immigration and stuff like that. I mean, I suppose they do, but they, obviously, if you look into it, he hasn't really done much of a great. Like his policy wise in that regard is not particularly different to anybody else's. But what really sets him aside is that he's like, it's like sort of Chris Farley or something becoming president, and then if he becomes, if he gets the Nobel Peace Prize, that's just another one of these kind of bastions of sort of cultural whatever it is, and he just realizes all that, it's all just kind of that surface level of these things. Like it's not really about, imagine if Trump. I mean, the thing is, I mean, Obama got the Peace Prize for nothing, right? That was probably
He got it for
far.
showing up.
That
He
was
didn't
like,
even want it. He didn't even think he earned it, did he? He was just like, ugh.
and you would think that surely should be an embarrassment to Nobel, right? But everyone was like, no, because look at him. He's such a suave, sophisticated Bill Paxman type person. Like I know Bill Pullman, not Bill Paxman.
Bill Pullman.
Yeah, no, Bill Paxman definitely not presidential material. So yeah, like, yeah, Obama, that's great. He gets it for nothing, right? But it's fine because he fits the bill. If Trump actually did something worthy of it, which he would have to because he definitely doesn't fit the bill. In many ways, Trump, he's like the sort of working class, single, black woman who's a professional who has to work twice as hard to get the respect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's starting the race from a long way behind
Exactly.
with only a small $1 million loan from his father.
Well, okay, apart from all of that, Anyway, new party. Yeah, I watched a video on a channel called Talking About Socialism, which I think is like a podcast, also a YouTube channel. It's a good idea.
But you've had an exciting week then.
It was good. It was a good video. It's a good channel. It's even smaller than this channel, so I feel like really great to shout out. To give a shout out. No. We want to laugh.
This is my shout.
No, the cool way to mock it is by sort of condescendingly like,
Oh.
yes, I watched a small video. It was very good. Well done.
Yes,
well
well
done
done.
talking
Yes.
about socialism with your 500 subscribers. I mean, it'll be bigger than this channel in a few weeks. Don't worry about it. Then we can properly shit on it. Anyway, no, it was really good. There was people around the country talking about your party and their frustrations with it, which are many. I think the interesting thing, is that everybody's talking about 700,000 people have joined, and this is a great, exciting moment where we can see that there is energy for change and blah blah blah. Basically, you can see there's energy for change, and then the next bit of the sentence is like just what they want to see happen. So a lot these people were sort of more kind of traditional socialists and in fact communists, and they were like, well, we can see that this is what people want, and we need to make sure that the party's like this. It's like, that's not really. I mean, some people, sure, but all you can really say is there's excitement around Corbyn and to some extent Zara Sultana, right?
Yeah.
And that's what this is about. I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's just what it is. And when people are saying, and then people, the weird thing is that people who are talking about this kind of stuff, talking about the party and what direction it should take and stuff, are sort of annoyed at Corbyn and Sultana, and they're like, they should do this and they should do that. And it's like, I don't know, there's a sort of mismatch where it's like the only reason this is happening is because of them. It's not like there was a movement and they've become the leadership of it. And we're like, we're from this movement, and there's the excitement is around them and sort of their history as MPs. And I don't think you're going to be able to change their politics.
No.
The way that I think people are thinking. What there is an opportunity for in terms of actual socialism and that kind of thing is building up a party structure and building up networks of individuals around the country that could one day build something. But this, like, so for example, on the call, people talking like the party shouldn't be focused on electoralism. And like, it will be. They're both sitting MPs for one thing. I mean, I don't. They come from that world. They're looking to form a party to do well in elections, and so if you're joining the party not for that, that's fine. But don't expect. I mean, you can have that fight in terms that they want a kind of democratic process.
So is this what the socialist website is saying? They're saying that it shouldn't be an electoral party. What is the actual criticisms
some people
that
are
are being
saying
made?
that. I mean, people are saying all sorts of things, but I just think what's interesting is it's like you wouldn't say this about any other political party. You would. I think the idea is because
We're only hard on you, Jeremy, because we love you.
yeah, the party hasn't been formed yet, so people are sort of desperately clamoring to sort of try and build a narrative about what it will be. But I think it's pretty inevitable what it will be. The democracy element of it is interesting and should be fought for. But in terms, at least in the short term, it's a vehicle for the popularity of Zara Sultana and Jeremy Corbyn. And anything else, you can try and attach to that. But Jeremy Corbyn is just a sort of democratic socialist. Or not even that really. Well, the other way around, social democracy, about the sort of subtle differences. I mean, the thing about Corbynism in the late noughties or whatever you call it, 2015 to 2019, was that it was really basically the sort of program of the centre left that you would expect a sort of centre left person to support.
Yeah,
But it was about within the capitalist system putting in some progressive policies that would actually help the system to keep going, which is exactly what the sort of people that really hated it are actually say that they're for. And what was interesting was that people who were much further left than that and very skeptical about capitalism in general, and certainly about the political system that we have and the ability to change things for workers and stuff, they got on board with it. So it's kind of bizarre in that regard, but I suppose the argument is that, well, I mean, there's a few arguments. One of them is you have causes that are just that are happening right now that are just so serious that it's really ridiculous to try and ignore them for some sort of long-term goal towards socialism. For example, what's happening in Gaza. You'd be like, if you could bring in a government that was going to sever ties with Israel and put huge pressure on the US and galvanize a kind of European blockade, because Israel does most of its trading with Europe, that would be really worth it in the short term to stop the suffering that's going on there. And I think people, it would be pretty callous to say, well, we shouldn't really support this party because, in the long term, it's just feeding the capitalist project. And this sort of progressive policies are just weakening workers' rights and abilities to organize, But you do have that issue of progressivism versus socialism, say, for example.
Yeah, I mean, you can always say that a political movement is going to further the status quo in some way or another, or kind of act as a bit of a fig leaf. But I mean, you could say that about pretty much any party. How revolutionary?
Not the Communist Party.
Well, there's the Communist Party, but they're not going to win.
No, they don't do very well.
So you kind of I mean, it's very clear that a Corbyn government would at least do some good, and we live in the real world and we live in the now.
Well, I don't know, because I think there's these 2 points, right, where you go, well, okay, it's going to be socialism, and we're not going to try and work with the capitalist framework at all. Or you got sort of progressivism where we're going to put through reforms, reforms to the welfare state and that kind of thing, which arguably softens the workforce up, makes them reliant on the state for aid and stuff like that. But they're quite sort of extreme positions, and one of them seems impossible at this point without the sort of lack of organizing.
Yeah, it's just a bit of an indulgence, I think, to go that far, because it's just. But also, I think the other thing is that, like you said, there are key international issues which aren't just about how we organise the means of production. There are international issues of war and peace that are very, very pressing, and you can't just allow those to carry on, because that's the death toll from that will be gigantic. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a great deal of time for
socialists.
Well,
real socialists, not fake.
Oh. But I mean, it's weird, isn't it? That's always the accusation that Corbyn's had from, I guess, mainly the right, but also the kind of Blairites as well, which is, well, you can either try and get power and do something practical, or you can just sort of be away in la la land and have your own, just be right all the time. And it's like, well, part of the thing about the 2017 election is that it showed A, you can be right, and B, you can still win. So, I mean, I think that argument was correct. I think opposing that argument was correct, and Corbyn was correct to follow that thing. But yeah, there does come a point where it's just there's no point in just being abstract about politics.
Well, there's a few things with you've got to win power issue. One of them is, so on the one hand, obviously the people that really believe that and are involved in those sort of projects, apart from Starmer, who doesn't believe anything, but everybody else, right, is that they think...
Apart from not paying rent, boys.
Wait, is that... I don't... Is that a policy?
That's not true. That was just a
but he doesn't pay rent, boys. He doesn't pay rent, boys.
He doesn't pay. Yeah, didn't I say that?
Yeah, I know. So I don't quite get... He doesn't believe in not... No, he does believe in not paying...
I don't believe in not paying rent, boys.
I do believe in not paying rent, boys. That's his policy.
Yeah. That's the sixth pledge on that little placard I don't know that Blair used to put out.
What's that got to do with centrism? Are you saying that generally they don't pay for rent, boys?
I have no idea. It just made me laugh.
There's been no follow-up on that story.
No.
It's gone cold.
Probably because load of old rubbish. It's just a coincidence that he had his car burnt down.
Well, you're saying that not... So you're saying none of those things even happened?
Yeah. If you get... I don't know. Yeah. Something happened, didn't it? But no one knows.
So, yeah. People, right? So people like Morgan Sweeney or whatever, maybe not even him. I don't know. Somebody somewhere involved in that project actually believes that the sort of policy positions they're putting forward are. What are you eating, by the way?
Pears.
But like a sort of pear
Ev-
jelly gunky thing.
Because we do this once a week, I can see every week that my face gets about another millimeter fatter. It's really annoying. So I keep having.
Well, stop eating canned fruit. Eat some real fruit.
Mmm.
It's
Delicious.
like it's like
Healthy,
doing a
delicious
podcast.
pears.
It's like doing a sort of weird, like Doctor Who podcast with someone on Zoom from the 1950s somehow, who's like eating tinned fruit.
Safe in this bunker
Tin.
with
I
my
don't.
tinned fruit.
Tinned pears. Where do you even buy those?
Amazon bulk. I'll buy them in bulk, along with my mandarins,
And opened
mandarins.
Starbucks drinks.
Oh, that was such a mistake. Looking forward to that for weeks.
Why didn't you just drink it weeks ago?
Because I don't know, because I've got coffee. It's like literally, I put it in the fridge, and there's a kettle next to the fridge. It's like, why would I have cold fucking
You
coffee?
opened it, then put it in the
Yeah.
fridge and said, "Oh, that'll be good in a few weeks." Then you got out of the fridge
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Didn't you notice immediately that it was already opened?
Uh, I knew it got the straw in it, but I thought the straw was already like in it, like as part of the packaging.
So
like, pre-prepared.
So how? What was the seal in your
A
mind?
little bit of crappy. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I have to say I didn't. Yeah, I'm not very technically
The
minded.
story is falling apart. The scrutiny.
Yeah.
No. Okay, no. There's two points with the centrists. One is that they think they're right, but the other one is that they think they're popular.
Yes,
And
they're quite a bad combination because it's, and I
neither-
guess because
neither
you're in
true.
because you're in the center, it's a little bit like, well, we must be reasonable because there's people on our left and people are on our right.
Oh
So
no,
we're in the middle.
I've got a point about that as well. It's because there's a great thing called horseshoe theory that some idiot came up with, and he thought he was being really clever because he was like, oh, actually, to go to the real far extremes of either left or right starts to curve inward again because they're just both extreme crazy people, right? It's like, yes, absolutely true, but doesn't that then, if you keep going, make it into a circle? And then where's your center? Suddenly centrism is just one extreme of some sort of compass point. Or maybe there's no centrism and there's no extremism. There's just various positions ever going round and round. Because centrism is based on the idea of it's a compromise between different sort of policies and stuff, but it cherry picks what the sort of things that it wants to talk about are, right?
Yeah, well, that's where the concept of the radical center came about, isn't it?
Exactly,
Or the
yeah.
extremist center, where a bunch of jerks are actually say that they're in the center, but they're actually loony tune. That's kind of where we've got to, isn't it? Really, well, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of dodgy centrists. Anyway, you can be in the center and still support a genocide, for example.
Exactly. Yeah, so anyway, they think they're right and they think they're popular. They're definitely not popular anymore. And the reason they're not popular is most likely because they weren't right and their policies have kind of fucked everything up.
Yeah, I think that's about hits the nail on the head.
But the reason also that they were popular in the first place is because you have a kind of media that sort of sustains the ideas that they're, and then you talk about the sort of Overton window idea that these ideas are sort of pushed out to be the acceptable ideas. And then, lo and behold, as they are the ones that are presented as the acceptable ideas, they're the ones that people tend to gravitate towards to believe that are the right positions that people should take, or the realistic positions. And therefore they become the popular ones, and therefore they're voted in. And so it's just a sort of, vicious circle. But we've got 10 minutes left of our free Zoom meeting. As always, this is brought to you by free Zoom meetings. Anybody can start a podcast. That's the great thing about that I've learned
You've learned that anyone can start a 40-minute podcast and then make a second
You could make
section
endless
that's also
podcasts
40 minutes.
as long as you have a little break.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, right. So the other the problem is though that there have been a lot of left wing governments along the kind of lines that a Corbyn Sultana your party thing is likely to be, and they
Have
haven't.
there?
Well, there's been some. There's been Podemos in Spain, Syriza in Greece. There's a left wing government in charge of Colombia right now. Obviously, Colombia is a very different situation economically and militarily and everything else from the UK, but it's doing very badly.
Mm.
And there are obvious problems that I think, and this is the thing, there are obvious problems that would need to be addressed if you're going to have the sort of manifesto that Labour had in 2017 under a new party. And the immediate idea is, well, we'll address it by socialism, by having like a revolution and bringing down capitalism. And I agree with that, obviously, in principle. But I think, in the short term, maybe that's not going to happen, right? So I think you would have to sort of seriously think about how to actually. I'm thinking about maybe like you could call it a third way, Matt.
Now that is a good idea.
But not a third way between the right and the left. A third way between the left and the left.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Between socialism and progressivism, basically.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The interesting thing is that they've so this is the other thing, right? It's a party about the interest is about it's not entirely about Corbyn and Sultana, but that's really like there's lots of parties you could join and could have joined before this was announced, including the Communist Party and progressive parties like the Green Party, right? And some people were joining and some people weren't, right? But so like the enthusiasm around this is because of Corbyn. Now that doesn't mean that it entirely has to be about him in the whole thing, but what there's like people are annoyed about the fact that it's sort of at the moment there's like a sort of central clique of people that are organizing and doing stuff, and people are organizing around the country at the same time, and it feels like, well, it doesn't just feel like there is clearly a separation between these two sorts of things, and ideally you want this leadership that comes about to support and what's happening locally, these local groups. But it is going to, there seems to be this weird idea that it's going to, the local groups somehow are going to, I don't know, create a leadership, but they haven't done that. Like that could have happened over 5 years. It's not like Corbyn jumped the gun. That could have happened. It didn't. And in fact, there's people like Ken Loach which involved in trying to do something like that. But then again, that wouldn't have looked towards electoral politics. So I don't know. I guess I'm finding it really hard to explain. But there is this leadership thing that's come about that has got a lot of people interested. And there are a lot of things that have been going on for a number of years locally, which is always the case with good socialists, which is that they, a lot of them do fucking loads of hard work. Like they work in soup kitchens. There's been some great initiatives over the last few years. The London Renters Union, Acorn, about getting rights for tenants and stuff. People are working hard on all sorts of things like that all the time. But clearly, that kind of movement, if you're going to make it into a political party, it's going to be an electoral force, which is going to have MPs or people that want to be MPs in a kind of leadership role. I don't think that has to be the be all and end all, but that's what this is. That's what I don't understand. That's what Corbyn and Sultana can offer you. They can't offer you the stuff that you want. You can do yourself, and it's very difficult and will probably fail. I really wish it wouldn't. I hope it succeeds, but like thinking. I don't know, and ideally you want these two things to come together. But Corbyn and Sultana are not not the people best equipped to do the kind of. Well, I don't know what they want them to do really. All they can do is sort of create conditions, I guess, in terms of policy. That it would be best for them to be empowered to do so. I imagine. I don't know. I thought I had a point. Maybe I don't.
You're saying that there are a lot of
Yeah,
activists and people on
sum
the
up.
left who are on the grassroots who are frustrated that Corbyn and Sultana aren't doing more, but actually there's nothing that Corbyn and Sultana can do for the grassroots movements anyway, really, because they're parliamentarians.
I guess I am saying that. I suppose now hearing my words back to me, they probably could do more. But I wonder whether um, I suppose if they were to do more, they would move away from the roles that they're in.
Mm.
And also, that's not the expectation of everybody who's involved. It's
No,
a lot of
and I
it.
think it would be weird if Corbyn was at this very moment, at least, to sort of go around doing massive sort of tour, sort of massive tour to try and kind of uh, ramp up enthusiasm in local areas. Well, I mean, I guess you can,
Yeah,
do
no, he
it,
could
but
do that.
isn't the whole point that you do that
He should he
on the
should do that.
campaign trail?
He should do that in the north exclusively, actually.
Well, there might be certain places where it would be really welcome, but you kind of want to better build a bit of momentum there, like you said about a few weeks ago when you were talking about Nigel Farage sort of being out in the political wilderness, whenever it was in the late noughties, and then just showing up on the White Cliffs of Dover and after just months of being quiet, and that just was the sort of sudden explosion of interest again in his standing, and the same thing with Donald Trump. You do have to kind of I think leaders have to kind of build from somewhere, really. I think if Corbyn tried to go out and just rally
No, well, I
support in
think
local
yeah.
areas, I think it probably wouldn't. It might fall a bit flatter than it would if he sort of plays the slightly longer game and plays into the electoral party system and those.
Well, what Corbyn could do, and Sultana, is use their platform to highlight sort of best practice in what's going on locally. So there are different things happening all over the country, and some of them are very well organized, very successful. Be it to do with campaigning on Palestine or organizing locally to stop uh, deportations or tenants being evicted, and they sort of formed their own organizations and stuff. And I suppose that's the sort of thing where you could use your platform as a national figure to draw attention to these kind of things. In terms of, and I suppose in terms of policy, if it is going to be completely open and allow everybody to be one person, one vote, which I think would be disappointed if that isn't the case. Rather than a sort of delegation system that you have in the Labour Party. That there's going to be this conference, there's going to be a way of voting on the policy for the party. And the way it's being sort of broadcast, I think mostly by Sultana, is that it will be one person, one vote, if you remember. Then I suppose you want to be able to bring in policies that enable people to, I mean, you wouldn't even have to be policies, but bring in structures within the party that enable people to organize. So I think what we'll do at the end of this is almost over now, and we'll have another meeting in a second. What we'll do in the second half is talk about momentum and how not to do local activism and local organizing.
Join us
Join us
after the
then,
break
but it's not over yet.
and like and subscribe.
Oh yes, like and subscribe, please. Please, well done. Yes, like the video, like it, please. Press like. If you support local, even if you don't like this video, you don't like me, you don't like what we're saying, just support local. Oh man, my computer's struggling as well,
Hmm.
and we're back.
We're back.
We're back. Yeah, my computer's really struggling because it can barely do two things now. It's converting the recording of the last meeting, and the fact that we're now doing this one is too much for it. This podcast really is on the knife edge. But I was thinking, like just now,
Sorry, Daniel.
exactly.
That's
I was
that's
thinking,
that's your computer. I'm
um,
trying my best.
I was thinking on that short break that we took. Maybe the problem with this podcast is that it's a podcast of people who don't know what they're talking about, or at least I don't know what I'm talking about. But then I
Dude, you're good.
no, but
Don't
then I
worry.
thought, but no, but then I thought actually no, it's good. That's our unique selling point is that
Mm,
we just push through that, and I don't know where this is going or what's going to happen, but it's just throwing shit out there, I suppose. What are we talking about?
yeah.
Momentum.
Mm.
Were you in momentum?
Uh,
Oh no,
I
my
got all the emails. I think I must have signed up or even paid at some point.
yeah, I signed up and never paid, but I
Mm.
got all the emails and was part of the steering committee of Hackney Momentum for a while
Oh
without
wow.
without ever paying
Jesus.
anything. Um,
Right.
I think they fucked up there a little bit. So that's the first tip I would say for your party is sort out the payment system.
Mm.
The Labour
I
Party
think maybe
definitely.
I did. I think I didn't really do anything for momentum anyway. I did a bit of campaigning during the election campaign for the Labour Party under Corbyn. I don't think I ever actually did anything for momentum. So I wouldn't like to make that claim, but I think yeah, I was just part of
Yeah, I mean Momentum
the
were
internet.
in that regard. I mean they were quite open. Most stuff you could do without being a member.
Yeah.
You're just paying really in a way with the Labour Party just to support it if you wanted to financially support it, which I didn't clearly. Um, I mean, I didn't pay Labour that much either. I was on the lowest thing that you could pay.
Does momentum still actually exist?
Yeah. Do you want to join it? We could join it now.
Well, infiltrate it like Corbyn
Well,
did
maybe I don't know.
in
Can we join it
2015.
for free still? That's the
Join it for
key.
free and then change the whatever it is the voting system
Yeah.
because you could become leader of what you're only the Hackney steering committee. You
You
might be
go
able to
to
become
you
head of
go
momentum
to
now that it's a husk of itself.
yeah, the Momentum meeting and there's thousands of people voting. We've only got 100 paid up members. What is going on with all this?
Yeah.
No, so there was lots of problems with momentum. So a bit like this, right? In terms of so when Corbyn ran for leader in 2015, a lot of people campaigned. I think it was called Corbyn for Leader was the
Mm.
website and the Facebook page and all that kind of stuff. And people joined up and they wanted to campaign during the leadership election, and then they ended up meeting all these other people in their local area. Some of them Labour members, some of them not, who shared their politics. And they were, oh wow, I didn't realize there's those people like me here. And then they wanted to keep organizing together locally, hence the formation of Momentum. I mean, that's not the only reason that Momentum formed. That was part of the basis was that there was a big group of people who were now joining the Labour Party en masse, but didn't have sort of representation as a group in the party. The party obviously being
Mm.
openly hostile to this new membership. Now, the big mistake that Momentum made, that everybody agrees with, is that they refused to share the data of the people that signed up. So there was, I can't remember what it's called, Momentum National or something, which was based in an office in London. And they were the ones that you signed up with, and they were the ones that you paid to be a Momentum member, except me. And then there was the local groups that were basically just set up by people in the area who then told Momentum National that we are the group for here, we're the group for there. Um, and Momentum National would not give the data of who was living in your area. So it was done, it was modeled on the constituencies, parliamentary constituencies. So there was a Hackney North and a Hackney South Momentum. I think eventually there was just a Hackney Momentum actually. But in either case, people signed up from Hackney North constituency and Hackney South constituency. They gave the information to Hackney International, to Momentum International or whatever it's called, and then they refused to give that data to back to Hackney. So you had no idea how many people had signed up. You didn't know where they were, who they were. And they said,
Why did
this
they do
was
that?
power, control, incompetence. I don't know. Um, I mean, they say it was, what is it? Data sharing, data, whatever that phrase is that people always say.
Data protection.
Data protection. But then, just fucking put in the form. Do you mind your email address being shared with other members locally? It's not that difficult. And then just everybody that puts that constituency and ticks the box to say it can be shared can be shared. And some people won't put it, and that's fine, but the majority of people will, right? But they wouldn't do that. They also wouldn't give anyone any money. They had all the money. And you could obviously ask, oh, we want to put on an event. Can we have a little bit of money from Momentum since we're a Momentum group? And they were like, nah, sorry. Um, so if you wanted to send an email, if you were in Hackney Momentum, you were the chair of Hackney Momentum, and you wanted to send an email to all the members in Hackney, you had to send it to Momentum International, and then they would send it out to all the members in Hackney if they remembered. But they were quite understaffed and bombarded by people. It's a completely ludicrous way around of doing it.
Mm.
And in fact, you could, if you live in London, oh, I mean, you could do this even if you didn't, but it was easier. If you lived in London, you could go down to Hackney International office when they were open and like do the email yourself. But you could never look at the data. You could never see who you're sending it to. So you have no idea how many people are receiving this email. It's completely ridiculous, right? And this is what people are really concerned about with this new party. Because what's happening at the moment is that people
Ah,
are forming groups. But again, like it's kind of bizarre, right? Because some groups are sort of coming out of already existing sort of left-wingy groups in local areas. But there was obviously no your party local groups before this announcement. And now they're forming. But people don't know who else has signed up from their local area because,
it's
I,
starting to stick that your party name, isn't it? I'm quite liking it.
yeah, it probably will be your party. I mean, the faff it will take to change it at this point. They've got the
Mm.
website, they've got everything.
Mm.
Yeah, but it should be Party for You with just a U.
Yeah.
That's much better. Like there's, I think it was when I used to live in Camden, there was a really, really bad looking curry house called Curry for You, which I never went to because it was just a grim name. Because I'm like quite snooty like that.
Mm.
Like if it was called the Raj, I would have thought, oh, that sounds like a really but
Mm.
Curry for You, I was like, no.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was called
he's a little bit Corbyn's style is a little bit like he doesn't like leading really, does he? So he's a bit like, can you just make up the name? Like, he just always wants to be like, just someone else do it.
he doesn't want to do anything. He's lazy.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, maybe not lazy, but yeah. Can someone else do it? That'd be a good
Can someone else do that's The
that'd be a
Simpsons?
good
Yeah.
slogan. There is a Simpsons
Yeah.
episode, isn't there?
Yeah.
Can someone else just do it or whatever? Um, yeah,
Anyway,
probably stick with your party rather than just ripping something off the Simpsons for the
is that
new
enough?
Corbyn movement.
What about you? Have you signed up to your local? So the other thing, how people are getting past this data protection thing is they're forming Facebook groups,
Oh, okay.
which again shows the age of the people that are. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah. No one
obvious
uses Facebook.
no, exactly. So
Um,
there probably is a Facebook group, but then there's also like a Snapchat group, and they don't even know the other exists. That could be one
uh,
issue. Anyway,
yeah, and with the sign-ups, it was what is it about 700,000 sign-ups, or whatever.
and
But
counting.
that's not actual members, though, is it? That's just expressions of interest, really. So we don't really know if the party will sort of hit the ground running with, 500,000 members. It'd be great if it did, but
No,
I guess we just,
but I think yes, I think they need to bring in a membership thing so that you pay.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a good proportion of the people that signed up will.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Yeah, I mean, everyone I've met who's signed up for it is also going to join. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
unless they can find a way of not paying like I did.
Yeah. It's a bit like using your red nose again on Red Nose Day. Use it from a previous year. Save yourself a bit of cash.
And the poppy. Well, I'm always
And the
suspicious.
poppy,
I'm
yeah.
suspicious about, when people have permanent poppies.
Oh,
Politicians. In
yeah.
fact, Jeremy Corbyn. So I don't want to put fucking Jeremy Corbyn in again, but I think once he had
Oh
like
no, is he
he had a little tiny metal one, and I
a
thought
permanent one?
that's not good, is
That
it?
means he didn't buy it each
Didn't buy it on
year.
the. No, you have to buy it.
Oh, that is
No,
going to
no,
be
no.
right out. You've
A-
broken the story.
ask any Conservative MP worth his salt. He will tell you you buy one every day on the day
Every day on the 11th hour of the 11th minute
of each day that it
of every
seems
day.
appropriate that you do it,
Yeah.
which is kind of not entirely known to
Yeah. And then
anyone.
the Daily Mail will have a double page
Is
spread,
there
which will
like is
be
there
this day Corbyn didn't buy a poppy. And then January the 2nd, this day, the 11th minute of the 11th hour, he
no? But I
didn't
think
buy a poppy.
in Corbyn's
Spotted not buying poppy.
in Corbyn's defense, I think if you buy the metal one, it's more expensive, so it covers
It
a few
covers you
days.
for it covers you for however long the
Yeah,
war
it's like
lasted.
when you get the 5 ticket thing on the Paris Metro, and it gives you. Yeah, I think what is the last day? Is there a set cut off where that's the last day you wear them?
Well, each year after the 11th of the whatever.
Because it's not just the 11th. You wear it in the lead up, and or maybe you don't wear it after the 11th. Is that how it is? It's the lead up, and then
Yeah, I don't know.
when's the first day?
as, as soon as the 11th minute of the 11th hour of the 11th thing, then as soon as the 12th
You
minute,
just like throw it in the
you just
bin.
bung it
That
in. You bung it at the cenotaph. Oh, I thought this is what you're meant to do.
that would actually be quite a nice like visual thing to do, and it'd be like
Yeah, actually,
thousands of
it
people
probably would
just
look
through
quite
their
good. Yeah.
yeah. Oh well. Anyway,
Well, we've just figured out how to celebrate World War One.
finally,
It's taken forever.
just as people were forgetting about it and not celebrating it anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Palestine.
Palestine
You wanted to
action.
do you wanted to do something about Palestine action. I bought the
Palestine action.
Observer on Sunday,
Thank God.
and they've actually reported it on their front page,
Yeah, they really
which
broke
is
the
the sound of
news.
silence. More than 400 arrested at peaceful protest to support Palestine action. Does that mean that the Observer, the Guardian, and co are actually sort of, you know,
Oh, yes, go on.
supporting the whatever it is, supporting
No.
the non-genocide? You know
Well,
what I
did you
mean?
read the
I
article?
don't mean the non-genocide. I mean the fucking
The actual genocide.
going against the genocide.
Did you read the article? Because that might tell you.
Yeah, it's just a picture.
Yeah, I bought it for the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bought it with all the best intentions in the world on Sunday, and then
it was also the BBC covered it. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're all fully behind the non-genocide as you put it, but I think
mm,
uh, it's certainly people are certainly finding the prescription of Palestine action a bit weird, and the
mm,
government is struggling to justify it lately.
mm,
But for anybody who didn't see the news on Sunday, so I think what happened was about 1,000 people turned up to Parliament Square on Saturday and sat down holding a sign. I think they all had pretty much the same thing written on the sign, which was, "I don't support genocide. I support Palestine action." Phrase to that effect. Everybody had the same thing, which is obviously the first part of it. I think most people would agree with. Uh, the issue there is, of course, that people don't think there is a genocide happening. The second part of it, I support Palestine action. That is, of course, illegal to say at the moment because they're a terrorist organization. And so the police were there. And I found this a bit strange, right? So the police were there. They ended up arresting, I think, about half of them, about 500 people, which is a lot of people. It was the biggest arrest this century, I believe. I don't know when there would even be.
Wow.
When did they ever arrest more than 500 people ever? I don't
God.
know. But yeah, I mean, very much like an XR in their heyday, an XR protest. What you do is do a mass demonstration where you put yourself in a position where you are intentionally breaking the law, provoking the police to arrest you, and enough people do that, then it clogs up the all the cells in central London. It takes a huge amount of police time, um, and that's the protest. That's the way you do it. I think it's a
Do you think that's effective? Because you can see
well, it's
people
different.
taking the piss out of that a little bit. Because it's like, what does it really
It's
achieve anything for people on the ground?
in terms of Palestine action, I think it's very effective because the protest is actually about that law shouldn't be a law.
Mm,
Whereas in XR, it's not quite so clear cut what you're doing,
yeah,
right? Um,
yeah.
so the law is stupid, and here's why. We're going to prove it to you by showing you that it's not only is it silly, why would you arrest 500 people sitting down on the floor?
Yeah.
Many of them elderly, no
Mm,
threat to anyone, huge amount of police time. Why would you do that?
mm,
Secondly, you can't even do it. You can't even arrest us
mm.
all. It's unenforceable. So in that respect, it's very effective. Now, what I don't understand, this is why I get like a bit either it's conspiratorial or like it all just seems like a pantomime. The police don't have to arrest people for breaking the law, right? And particularly in those sort of circumstances, protests. I mean,
Mm.
I'm thinking more riots, but in riots there is often the police take the stance that they're not going to intervene in the moment because it might escalate things. Unless someone is actively in danger, they will allow people to smash up property and stuff. If there's overwhelming numbers and it could cause for more violence and harm to individuals if the police were involved. And what they do is they take pictures, they try and kettle people so that people get tired and they allow people out in small numbers so that they can
Mm.
reduce. They have all sorts of tactics. They arrest people later using CCTV. But and in this situation, I would have thought the obvious thing the police would have done would be completely ignore the protest.
Mm.
Just allow them to sit there for 6 hours. I mean, it took them 6 hours to arrest 500 people. The protest was
Mm.
only supposed to go from 12 till 2, but they barely arrested anyone in that time. It took them so long
Mm.
because people would do the whole thing where they go limp and then it take like six officers to carry you. So it took them ages. But at 2 o'clock, they barely arrested anyone. So with the protest, like, oh well, we'll just stay then and cause a problem all day. And by about 6 o'clock, they'd arrested half of them.
Mm.
And
Well,
then
I mean,
everybody was like at that point, let's just go home. The police were like, come, we don't want to arrest him. Could he just give up? I'm like, yeah, we've been here long enough. We're going to give up. And so they both called it a truce. But yes, I don't know why the police bothered at all to arrest anyone.
I'd have thought, and I don't know if this has been reported. I don't think so, but I'd have thought that it would be that would come down from the top. That will come from the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper,
Yeah, probably.
and the reason for it is surely that
She's an idiot.
well, they've passed the legislation, and they don't want people taking the piss out of the legislation because they're authoritarian fuckers. And they want to keep their legitimacy and keep their power and not have all of a fuss caused about it.
I know, but
As
I'm
they'll see
like,
it.
well,
I,
I would just say like you just let them get on with it. I don't know why I'm coming up with strategy for the British government here, but
yeah.
you just let them go on with it, and then you can, Cooper goes on TV the next day and think it's despicable. These people are misguided. They shouldn't be supporting this terrorist organization. Because it's one thing, because obviously the law is that if it's a terrorist organization, you can't support it. Never mind be a member and actively do stuff with it. But obviously the real problem is people actively doing it, right?
Mm,
And supporting it, showing a sign, is provocative and is clearly
mm,
against the law in this case and the way that it's written up. But that doesn't mean that it just seems self-defeating if you can't actually police it to embarrass yourself as the police and clog up all of the cells in central London trying to police it. And because what's going to happen is this is going to happen again. So there's going to be, and it's like because of the success of it, it's going to be a much bigger protest. I think the date hasn't been confirmed, but it's going to be one of the first 2 weekends of September. So if you're
Oh, okay.
interested, because the thing is, you don't have to get arrested. There were 1,000 people there who had signs, who were sitting down, who were part of the protest, but there were as many, if not more, people who were just there to support them, who were standing
Right.
up, chanting, telling the police that boo, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Um,
I wonder how easy it is to overturn legislation. It must be almost impossible in the short term after it's just been passed.
well, okay, there's another element to
So
this.
what's the actual end point of the process? I mean, I understand, but
Well, there's another point to this, which is that there's a what's it called? A legislative thing, word, whatever, a judicial review.
yeah.
So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so that's the judicial review on a few elements of it, but one of them being, I think, the politics of it, and this is all going to feed into that. So when they see the police can't enforce it, and they see these elderly middle class
Mm,
sort of people being arrested, they might decide that they can't, it's not allowed or whatever. So that's coming up pretty soon.
that's
So that would
interesting.
be
Really
now
interesting.
that could put a stop to it, and that would be hugely embarrassing for Yvette Cooper
Mm,
if that happens. Um, in a way, though, it might be her best bet that they do that, because then at least it's not her. Because otherwise, if it continues like this, and it's a huge embarrassment for the government, they may just have to overturn it themselves and do some sort of U-turn. But then I don't know. Yeah, it's funny.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
really
It
know.
must be so difficult to overturn your own legislation just a few
Particularly,
weeks after it's. How can you do that? I don't. It just seems odd. I mean,
but it's not
what happened with the poll tax when that was over?
it's not legislation, because the legislation is a terrorist act
Oh
from
yes.
2000.
Oh,
It's
it's
sim
not actually been voted for. It's just been implemented. Yeah, okay.
Well, it was voted on. I don't really understand it, but
Just in the Commons.
well, yeah, I don't know why you have to vote on who's a terrorist organization. It doesn't make much
Yeah.
sense to me.
And hands up, who thinks that these guys are terrorists?
Exactly.
Are
Um,
you going to put up your hand for this
but yeah, well, maybe they should do
one?
that for all organizations.
Yeah.
If you have a .org, then
Yeah.
there has to be a vote on whether you're a terrorist organization or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like they voted on that, but then they didn't vote on I suppose it's the government brought it. I don't know. I suppose it makes sense. Of course, it makes perfect sense. It's the
Oh,
mother of
good. That's
parliament.
fine. Yes, it is the mother of parliament. Well done.
Yeah, good
Well
job.
done, Big
Good,
Ben.
good job, everyone.
Is he still the king, Big Ben?
Big Ben.
Oh, I like to think is the king.
What the bell, not the clock, as everybody
The,
fucking likes to say on YouTube.
yeah, bell, not the clock.
Yeah, that's
Uh, it'd be good if there was just a big man called Ben who runs everything, and he's called Big Ben,
there is
and it's Tony
definitely
Ben.
there's definitely a amongst everything else that's going on, there's a kind of movement. People are becoming more accepting or more interested in the idea of going back to having some kind of monarch.
We do have some kind of monarch. We've got an actual
No,
monarch.
sorry. I mean, yes, apart from that,
Do you mean eunuch?
yes, I mean eunuch. Well, he might be both, but also he wouldn't be. Yeah, people want a monarch to run the country. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
A theocracy and
Rather than just being a
yeah.
figurehead.
Yes, exactly. But then again, if you mention that it would be him, people are like, oh no, not that one. Different
Yeah,
one.
the kid. What's he called? George.
The kid, yeah. Get the kid in. But again, it's so desperate. Because why do you want the kid? Oh, because I don't really know much about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so well, yes, but I think the mass arrests, interesting, right? So I don't know if have you ever been involved in a mass arrest?
No.
Have you ever been arrested?
No.
Oh, okay. So when you get arrested in a mass arrest sort of situation, which is usually takes place at Parliament Square or thereabouts, what they do is they bung you all into vans. They have loads of vans and they fill them up, and then they take them round the corner to what's called a sterile zone. That's the official term. It can be anywhere, but it's just somewhere that's usually like a cul-de-sac, an alleyway, or something that the police can cordon off, that they have complete control of, and is away from the environment where things are actually happening. So there's a really popular one which they generally use, which is King Charles Street, which is one of the streets sort of parallel to Downing Street, but is actually open, accessible to the public normally.
Hmm.
So just off Whitehall. So that's where they generally take when they do these mass XR arrests, and that's where they took them. So they take them all around there because you've got 500 people. I think they did. I think they needed two sterile zones, from what I read. The person that I was reading about, he went to this one, but some people were taken to another one. I don't know where that was. They had 200 odd people in this alleyway, many of them elderly who had been sitting down for hours before
Hmm.
they got arrested. So apparently, a lot of people pissed their pants
Oh, great.
in the alleyway because the police wouldn't let them go to the toilet.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Uh, and then what they do is because they have to process you there, and then they take you to a police station. The closest police station to Parliament is Charing Cross, but that only has a few cells. I think they really need to expand Charing Cross because what happens is every time Charing Cross gets filled immediately, and then they have to take people to Holborn, and then they have to take people to, and then they're getting as far as Brixton, and then they're driving people out of London. And this is part of the punishment, right? Is you drive,
What, just for a wee?
yeah, to some service station on the M25.
No, you mean to be processed, sort of thing.
Well, if they're gonna hold them overnight, which they do, or hold
Yeah.
them for an arbitrary length of time, which I
And
don't
when
actually.
and when you say the sterile zone, that's not to do with the wee either, is it?
That's good. That, yeah, I should have mentioned that. Yeah.
Mm.
He took the sterile zone literally.
Yeah, I'd be having a nice big wee in the corner about 10 times because of having a weak bladder in the
And
sterile
could you
zone.
be drinking all that beer while
Yeah,
you're doing it?
yeah. Oh, definitely wouldn't drink beer at a protest. That'd be the worst time to open the seal.
Yeah. So anyway, it sounds pretty horrendous, the
Yeah,
conditions that you
that's
get put under. And obviously, when it is elderly people, it's far worse because they've been
mm,
sitting down. The worst thing the only thing that's worse for old people than sitting down is standing up. So they're sitting down for
yeah.
hours on the floor. So that's bad for them. And then they're standing up for hours.
Well, the reason I got glass in my foot was because I couldn't, because I sat down on my kitchen floor when I came in, and I couldn't lift
You sat down on
the.
the kitchen floor.
I sat down on the kitchen floor because I was just tired, and then I couldn't get up for about
But
half an hour. I
what
just
about
left the bottles
how
that I was
far?
carrying on the floor.
Where's the living room in respect?
We're in the living room.
Right, and where's that in regard? I can't speak. In respect to the kitchen? What's the phrase?
It's just the kitchen's just over there.
And where's the front door?
Wow. All right, the kitchen's actually just around there, and the front door's just
So
there.
why didn't you go and sit on the couch?
Well, I think I was carrying a bunch of of water bottles, and I just put them down. I thought I'd be able to stand up, but I couldn't.
But why didn't you have
So, and
shoes? Wait, did you come in from the front door?
actually, you've got me there. I
This
think
sounds like a crock of shit. Wait,
yeah.
you were barefoot. Where were you at the beginning? Where
No,
did you? Let's go from day
it's kind of
one.
worse. It's kind of worse than that. It's because I came in, dropped off the bottles, and sat down on the floor and couldn't get up for about half an hour. But then when I stood up again, I was so lazy but not lazy, just being feeling like an old person that I didn't actually put the bottles anywhere. I just left them on the
In midair.
floor
Just
in midair. Yeah, it was incredible, really, a feat of magic. And then I went to bed, and then the next day, I got up and then accidentally smashed one of the bottles that was already on the floor.
oh
So
yeah.
I was trying to keep the story simple so that it didn't waste everybody's time.
No, that's
But
very kind of
in
you, but
digging
yeah,
in digging for the gold,
no, it just didn't make sense. And
you
I think,
found
it made you sound out to be more of an oaf than you are. Because I mean, everybody does that where you leave something and then you go to bed and the next day you just walk
yeah,
straight into it because you
yeah.
forgot it was there.
But
But
my
what?
point is that I'm 47, and if you're sitting on a concrete floor and you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, then yeah, that's going to be really horrible
Yeah.
because it's difficult enough just to staggering around just today.
But anyway, yes, there's going to be another protest, and it's likely to be bigger and more of a faff for the police, I imagine.
Mm, yeah, all very interesting. We'll follow that
We only got 10 minutes
with care.
left of this one.
Should we do comments? No, we haven't got any.
We haven't really got any. Nobody liked the last video or commented on it. So, I
Oh,
mean,
really?
some people did. There was one comment where it said, "This guy, the guy on the left, is right," all in caps.
That probably means about 10 different things depending on
Yeah. Well, I thought it means you because you're generally on the left. Like,
on the
it,
screen left. But on my screen, I'm actually on the right at the moment.
well,
But
then
I think
I
YouTube might
literally,
swap it around
I'm
somehow.
so vain. I literally looked up on Google what people tend to mean by that. Just check if and it said the correct thing. It didn't say what people tend to mean, but it said correct thing to say is to do it by the position of the person in the picture. They were talking about photographs, but I assume it's the same for screens. So, um, your no, sorry. The correct thing to do is from your perspective,
Yeah.
the viewer of the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so from his perspective, you would be on the left. So he thinks that you are right about something,
About something,
possibly
but we don't know
everything,
what.
possibly, or you're right wing,
Thanks. Thank you.
or he's
Thank
trying to
you.
give me, he's trying to tell me that you're right wing and you secretly infiltrated this
But I
podcast
reckon he'd
that
have
is
said
incredibly
is
left
right
wing.
wing.
Sorry.
He would have just said is right wing. I reckon he'd have added the extra four letters rather. Do you know what I mean? He wouldn't say the guy on the left is right.
Yeah, but it sounds cool, sort of.
Mm.
Yeah, you're probably right. He just thinks you're right, Matt. I don't know about what,
Hey.
but something. Fucking hell, it's hot. Right, should we let's end it there. We've got
Bye.